Welcome back, Original Video. Today we are back from an NFL player prediction video. Today talking about Micah Parsons. And this is really cool because it's our first defensive player prediction video. The rest have been offensive. A lot of quarterbacks, some wide receivers, a couple of running backs, but that's been about it. So Micah is the first defensive player, although he will not be the last. There are a few more. I'm not sure how many exactly, but there are a few more defensive players. But Micah was someone I really wanted to talk about for the Cowboys because, I could continue the kind of quarterback offensive heavy trend, talk about Dak, but honestly, I don't want to turn into just a roast session for Dak Prescott because he is a good quarterback, but there's so many things to consider when you talk about him of if he, doesn't collapse in the fourth quarter sometimes and all this kind of stuff. But the one constant is the Cowboys defense, and the main star, in my opinion, of that Cowboys defense, which is saying a lot because they have a lot of other great players, is Micah Parsons. And so a big thing to highlight for this year is that he is actually making a position switch. And so I read a lot about it, and according to CBS Sports, Micah basically said that he is switching from linebacker to defensive end. And so it's not so much in a way of going from linebacker to defensive end, but it's in a way of now he can play defensive end when he needs to and do linebacker and do this. So it's kind of like he said, I think actually he said he's going to be playing around 8 positions at some point this year, whether that's in all kinds of different stuff. Now, the reason I think this can be seriously an all-time year for Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive seasons ever for a player, is because of just how dynamic he is. And so they said at the time of that article, I think it was around June 28th, today's July 10th at the time of recording this, he's 248, I think, and he wants to be around 255 for the season. So he's definitely adding weight to be able to play defensive end effectively, whether that's going to be all the time or not. But the thing that makes Micah Parsons so deadly and so good is that he can come off the edge, instantly shut a block and sack the quarterback, or all of a sudden he can pop up and just drop back in coverage and pick the ball off. And honestly, he can cover very well for a linebacker. For someone that can rush very well and cover very well, that's not a common thing. That's very, very impressive, especially for someone his size. So this could be a huge year for Micah Parsons. Now, last season, I'm not going to say it was the most impressive season of all time, but Micah Parsons was dealing with quite a few injuries throughout the year. So that definitely factors in. And also because of just players shifting around, he wasn't able to get, sack after sack. 13.5 sacks, though, if that's considered a mid-year for a player, that shows how good of a player they are, because 13.5 sacks is not that bad considering what Micah Parsons can do. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how much he really stays on the defensive line this year, because, he said he's making that switch to be able to do it effectively, but still doing other things. So are they going to have him come off the edge, super consistently, or is it just going to be to take people by surprise, or is maybe drop back into coverage going to be more rare and he's going to rush more? I don't know, but that's why I think this can be such a huge year, because you have Dan Quinn as your defensive coordinator, who's done, honestly, in my opinion, a great job in Dallas. I mean, you just brought in Stephon Gilmore for another defensive back, and Gilmore has a few more years of good football left in him. I mean, he's not anywhere near being, a bad corner. He's a great corner, and you already have Trayvon Diggs. And I know you have another decent corner too, but I can't remember his name. But you still have Micah Parsons, and you have DeMarcus Lawrence, and you just drafted, I cannot remember what his name is, a defensive tackle from, I want to say Missouri or something. But you draft him, maybe with Michigan. I think it was a yellow team. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But either way, you draft him. You are adding to this defense that is really, in my opinion, the strength of the team. But that really does say a lot too, because the offense isn't bad by any means. Dak gets clowned on and he messes up, and I get it, but the offense, I mean, you have CeeDee Lamb, you add Brandon Cooks, you do lose Dalton Schultz, but Dak's not a horrible quarterback. He's still a good quarterback, and now you have Tony Pollard, a super dynamic running back. So this is a very, very good Cowboys team. Don't get me wrong at all, but I think that talking defensively here, Micah Parsons has major implications. Things that I think to expect to see from him. So first off, last year, no touchdowns. I'm willing to bet money this man gets a pick six. Whether it's jumping up and just running in. I mean, I'm honestly surprised he didn't have a touchdown last year. So, or maybe he did and it's just not listed in the fumble category and he ran it in. But either way, I'm going to guess he's going to really have some sneaky packages where he's kind of on the line and moves back a lot, or all of a sudden he just rushes like crazy. I think it's going to be an incredibly exciting year for him as long as he can stay healthy, because injuries definitely did linger a little bit last year for him, which was, it does show on the stats. But knowing how good Micah Parsons is and seeing these stats, it's like that's still super effective. He's just so good that this is more of like a, I guess you could say, down year. In my opinion, it's not really a down year. It's just not what he can do. So, and I mean, coming over to this, depth chart for the Cowboys, and his name is Mozzie Smith. That's who they drafted for defensive tackle. I could not remember that. But your defensive line is DeMarcus Lawrence. Oh, I should probably zoom in case it's not as clear for you guys. But you have DeMarcus Lawrence, Mozzie Smith. I'm not even going to say that guy's last name, but you have him. And now you're adding Micah Parsons to the right end to rush. And you still have Stephon Gilmore now. Jaron Curse, I forgot to say him. Trayvon Diggs, Leighton Vander Esch. Like, you have some very, very good defensive guys. So, in my opinion, I think the Cowboys are a defense to watch. It isn't like a hot take, like they're one of the best in the league. But I think Micah Parsons specifically, watch for him to really fill up the stat sheet, whether that's solo tackles, tackles for loss, sacks, fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, interceptions, all that kind of stuff. I think he's really going to do a lot all over the field this year, and I think it's going to be a huge year for any defensive player. Like, in my opinion, if I had to guess right now, like MVP, all that kind of stuff, for my defensive player of the year vote right now is Micah Parsons with this position switch, because I really think this is going to be huge for the Cowboys defense and very deadly for opposing offenses, because you now have to worry about First off, just Micah Parsons on the field anyway is a player that you have to look at when you're on offense and know where he is at all times, especially if you're the quarterback. But now, to have him be such a question mark of what he's doing, whether he's rushing, all this kind of stuff, you already have a great defensive coordinator with all these different packages. And I know Micah Parsons in that interview did say that he didn't want to give away too much, I think was the exact quote, as to what they're going to be doing. But him saying 8 different positions over the course of this year, I mean, sure, he could be exaggerating or smoke screening or whatever, however you look at it. But Micah Parsons is dynamic enough to where you don't make a position switch as a smoke screen. Like, you're going to do it. You don't add weight all just to throw people off. This is happening, and I think it's going to be big. So, seriously, in my opinion, Micah Parsons, early defensive player of the year vote. I would be shocked if at the very least he wasn't second or third in the voting, which, again, I don't think it's a super hot take. He's one of the best, if not the best defensive player in the league right now. So this position switch can mean everything for the Cowboys defense. But of course, guys, let me know down below if you maybe think I'm overreacting, or if maybe you think this is just going to kind of blow up and it's instead going to take away from Micah Parsons being able to be on other spots of the field where he should be, if you think it's going to be more effective that way. Personally, I think this is going to be big for Micah Parsons, and I think it's going to be big for the Cowboys defense. It's going to force turnovers, get the offense extra possessions. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't know. But I'm excited for the NFL season. If you're watching this, you probably are too. So make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel for all kinds of NFL content, because we're doing week picks when the season's going on. Player prediction series right now, which we are officially over halfway done with. And then we're starting our team prediction series, which should run up to, I think, literally around the start of the NFL season. We'll be going in depth, each team talking about their offense, their defense, their coaching, strength of schedule, rookies, all kinds of stuff like that. So be sure to be on the lookout for that series. We also do NFL quiz videos right now. Not a whole lot to really quiz people on. I guess if I can do all-time stuff, which maybe we'll do when the season gets closer, gets more hype around it. But that's mostly NFL tier list videos, which reminds me to support my last NFL tier list video where I went and I ranked every single team going into this year. You guys have loved that video. A lot of new subscribers, so thank you guys for all that. It does really mean a lot to me. So make sure if you guys are on here, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you didn't see that video, go check it out, because like I said, it's like 40 minutes long. Talking about every team to some degree, but again, the more in-depth team stuff will come later with individual videos. I also do Madden videos where we do No Money Spent series, pack openings, new promo content, news, gameplays, all that kind of stuff. Although I will say right now, it's not really until Madden 24, kind of slowing down on Madden, picking up more NFL, because this is what's really going to be important until, Madden drops August 15th. But it's always football on the channel, whether it's in video game format or NFL format or real life format or whatever it is. So thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.